Yo, what's up with y'all? It's K-Major. I'm back with another tutorial video for y'all today on the DK channel. Today's video is going to be on how to make some hard melodies for Lil Durk, similar to his song Aha, just some like dark piano, up-tempo type melodies. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys go join the Discord. There'll be a link to it down in the description. That's where we all just be chilling there. It's just a whole community of producers trying to work. You can send loops in there, collab with people, collab with DK, the whole team, just send loops, beats, and just work with people overall on the network. And also join the Patreon. There'll be a link to that also down in the description to get classes from all the DK members. But without further ado, let's get straight to the video. So the first thing I added was this piano right here. So the original piano sounds like this. But of course I reversed it. The original piano is the Noir Pure piano from Contact. I just deleted it because I exported it and reversed it. But the original MIDI is right here. So after that I copied it to Analog Lab and I went to Loophole 2 and I put the DS Lite preset, and this is how it sounds. So this is the same MIDI I used for the piano, so it's just the same notes. So how I first started with this was I started with my bass note, which was originally F sharp, and then all I did was I copied these notes up an octave, and then after that I just copied it up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that led me to C sharp. This is a very simple trick you could do if you don't know a lot of music theory, or if you're using a scale, or just a simple trick I do a lot. Just bring it up 7, and then I copied this up an octave as well. And that's basically it. That's the chord that plays throughout the whole sample. Very simple. It's just F sharp and C sharp, and just copied an octave up. After that I added these transition like passing notes right here. So just some very simple passing notes, kind of making spicing the melody up and just making it less boring and repetitive. And then after that I added the top melody. First I started with this simple pattern up here. Super simple. It's just this pattern copied over for the whole thing, and all it's doing is just kind of just going down the scale and then up and then down, up, down, up. Then I just switched up the 2 notes at the end for the second half to make it more unique. Then after that I layer the top melody with these notes right here. Just making it more unique and layering on top. Then I added the root note, which is F sharp, and I just played it over and over, kind of give the whole melody more rhythm. That was basically for the whole melody. After that I did Alt S to strum the notes and Alt R. So first the effects on the piano, I just added ambience reverb, my favorite reverb, just put it on, turn the mix knob down. Then I added pancake and I went to 1/2, so it's a lot faster. And all it's doing is just giving the melody, the piano more movement, just moving left and right. And I turn the mix down to 21, because if I have it at 100, you see it's like panning all the way to the right and all the way to the left. So just turning the mix knob down, it's not as harsh. And then I just use the stock EQ down here, just remove the lows and lower some of the mids and raise the highs. I also panned it a tiny bit to the right and I made it a little bit more stereo. Now for the Analog Lab, I first panned it a little bit to the left. I also made it a little bit more stereo. The first thing I added was Portal, and I used Pilgrim's latest Portal bank. Shout out Pilgrim, the whole bank is fire. I used the Material preset. As you can see, it just kind of adds a lot more like particles and kind of like ear candy to it, and just makes it so much more like fire in general. And I added ambience reverb, just turn the mix knob down, and then an EQ, removing all the lows, lowering a lot the low mids and mids, and raising the highs. And then same down here. After that I added Contact and I added the Spitfire solo violin. All I did in the bank itself was I turned the dynamics down. This is kind of like the lead of the melody and the main part of the sample that kind of just made it a lot more dark. All I did was I used the same notes from the original melody, and then the first thing I did was I panned it a lot to the right. Little trick is like panning your sounds like left and right. It kind of just helps with like your melodies clashing together, and it just gives it more room in general. Kind of gives it its own like little pocket in the melody. Say like I said, I panned it to the right, did 19% more stereo, and I added ambience of course, and then I added delay 3. I think all I did was I messed with the time and I put it at 4, and I just turned the mix knob down. Then I did pancake again. This one's a lot slower. This one's 1 bar, and I turned the mix knob down. Then EQ, removing all the lows, lowering the lows and high mids. and raising the highs to make it sound more crisp. And I also did the same thing down here. So like I was saying, that's kind of like the base of the melody. For the arrangement, I wanted to add certain sounds, so when I like remove the violin or something, I have like another sound come in. So for the second half, I removed the violin and I added this X band. It's just these less soft. The original chords, or just dyads, is very simple. It's just A and F sharp, and the second one is literally just G sharp and then just an octave up. Then I just added these like passing notes. Then after that, I copied the same pattern over. Only thing I did was I removed the chord right here that was in here in the beginning. I just removed it and kind of giving it that little pause, made room for like other instruments to come in. And then I just took this and I copied it over one more time. And also same thing, just Alt S to strum it, and then Alt R to randomize the velocities, making it sound more real. First I added RC20 to make it sound more like vintage and stuff. I just added the Vinyl 1 preset. First thing I messed with was the noise. I turned the noise down, and I also changed it to tape 15. This is my favorite one. It kind of just adds like white noise in the background. That's really it. Just kind of fills in those gaps. Then I added, I messed with the wobble, just kind of giving like a detune effect. And then I just messed with the width down here, made it a little bit more wide. Ambience reverb, just turn the mix knob down. And I also made it more stereo with stereo enhancer. I just went to the 4 strings preset and I reset the pan and I moved these 2 knobs closer to the center. And then just an EQ, completely cutting off all the lows and just lowering like this one harsh frequency in the middle. I do this to almost every sound to kind of give room to like a synth bass. After that, I added another contact. I added the nucleus choir, and then the actual MIDI itself is extremely simple. It's just these dyads playing over, just taking the same notes from the previous melodies, and then all I did was I added this like simple pattern down here, just going up down the melody. Then this down here is just controlling the phrases. For the effects, I made it a lot more wide than the other sounds. Ambience, and then just an EQ, remove the lows, of course, moving or just lowering some of the mids a tiny bit, and then same with the high. Then since like I said, I made a lot of room for the lows, the sample was missing, you know, the lower frequencies. That's when I added this FL keys. It's just a simple FL keys low piano bass that we all love to use for dark melodies, and it just filled up low frequencies. And then for the effects, I added a reverb to make it less dry, and then on the EQ I raised the lows and I lowered the highs. And then the last thing I added was to kind of like fill in the gaps of the melody. I just added another texture. This one is from Brian Mel's and Scoo's Equilibrium one-shot kit, and it's just the texture breath. It's just kind of like white noise with like this like breathing in it. And that was basically it for the whole melody. I came up with this arrangement, laid out the stems. On the master, I added an EQ, lowering some of the mids, some of the lows, and raising the highs, just making the whole sample sound more clean and crisp. And then I exported it, and I didn't even like mess with the pitch. It was perfect, and here's the final sample. So that's it for the whole sample. Really gives it that like Lil Durk vibe, just real dark, up-tempo, piano type, you know, melody. But yeah, man, that's basically it for the tutorial. If you guys did enjoy and learn something new, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss any other videos. Also, make sure you guys go in the comments and leave any ideas for the whole team. And lastly, make sure you guys go follow Drum Knockers on Instagram and also follow my Instagram as well. That's basically it, man. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.